All right, people, it is Derby time there. So that is the famed bugle call at the beginning for the horses to get there, up with the jockeys to get to their starting gates, all type of good stuff there. So it's a fun time here. Kentucky Derby. What we're going to do here is we're going to teach you how to read the horse racing manual, what all the numbers mean, how to interpret them. We see fractions, all right. We see times, we see speed numbers there. So reading, interpreting data to make a decision, that's there. So in your packet that's there, all right, you got your packet there. If you open it on up, you're going to find the page that's right in front of you there. And this gives the breakdown of the horses. And this is from the 2018 Derby. So we're going to kind of look at a previous Derby to show you how it works. And then later on in the week, when the 2022 information comes out, we'll get one of these, and then we can get that in your hands, and you can analyze it just as we're walking you through it there. So we're gonna be on that page. If you flip to the next page as well, that's where you'll be writing in all of your information. So for me, it's on my third page that's there, but we'll see something that's like that. So yeah, let's get into it here. So few different things that we want to be spotting, we want to be looking for right off the beginning. Um, get my marker that's there. There we go. There we go. First of all, here, the numbers in kind of like that black that's there, that's their starting position. So where are they regarding where their gate is at? Now, this is important because as you're going to see here, the starting gate has a lot to do with the start of the race that's there. So let's kind of see what we've got going on here. They're loading that last horse in here and they're off. Okay, so first of all, it was a rainy day here. So yeah, you can see the rain gear on. We've got mud that's on the track that's there. That's going to make it a little bit interesting. But look at the starting gate that's here. We get all the way from the one side in the one gate, then we go all the way out to the 20 gates. Now, this is what makes this race so interesting is they use up to 20 horses can be in the race. And so you can kind of see there they have to actually after gate 14 they've got to add this extension in on. Now that was in 2018. So what they've done now is they have one massive gate that's there, so they don't have to add that extension. But think about it: if you're all the way out on 20, all right, and kind of watch what happens here as they go there, vroom, you've got to get all the way over. So you might be thinking, well, if I'm in gate one, that's a real big advantage for me. Well, actually, it's not. It's hard to see from this angle, but at gates one, gates two, if you run straight ahead, you'll run into this rail that's over here. So you actually have to move more into the right. And if you can't get out in front of those horses that are like in 3 and 4, well, now suddenly you have to get behind them. Think about being in a car as you're leaving a parking lot. If you don't get yourself out there in front, okay, now you're behind that particular group you're looking at there. So you can kind of see they all start to come crashing down towards the rail. You can see some of them duck behind right away, some angle in there, but they're trying to get positioning that's here based on what their horse does. Because there's a lot of horses that run different styles. There's some that get out real fast and then try to stay out there. There's some that try to get out fast, kind of hang out with the group and then put the jets on at the end. There are these different racing styles that we're going to get ourselves into. Um, and then lastly, you kind of see like traffic lanes that are there. There are lanes of traffic there. You just can't simply cut someone off that's there. So there are certainly some written rules there, and you can kind of see a lot of times you get into like 4 lanes of traffic as they kind of come around the corner. So, all right, let's get ourselves back into the manual that's here and show you what we're looking at. On your paper there, the first thing that we want is the horse's name. So the first horse that we are talking about here is Audible. Now, the horses have very interesting names. They can't duplicate their names, so we'll get some kind of entertaining ones. The odds. Okay, so the odds are how likely they are to win. And we can find the odds right next to that gate position that's there. Now, I kind of covered it up there, so kind of we'll take it away there. But you can see it's 8-1. So the closer your value is to Well, technically 0, the better. So if I do 8 divided by 1, we get 8. So the closer we get down to 0, the better it is. Sometimes we see numbers that are less than 1. Like we might see a 4 to 5. So a 4 divided by 5, well, that's smaller than 1. So when we say the better, the closer you get to 0, that certainly means the more likely that people think that you are going to win. So we'll go on back to there and we'll go ahead and whoops, we'll go ahead and put our 8 to 1 that's on there regarding their odds. All right. We also know the gate position. All right. We see that. We kind of had that right at the beginning. We circled it. It is gate number 5 that's there. So we're going to put 5 in there. Number of winners from that particular gate. Okay, so you can go up into your graph and we're going to see this. Now, we're not going to fill this in right now, but what we do want to notice here is we've got all time, and this horse race has been going on for a long time. At this time, it was the 144th one, since 1990 and then since 2000. And what's changed is the number of horses. So you might be like, wow, look, there's a lot of winners that are here between 1 and 10. And I agree with that. But when they did this race, a lot of times there were only 10 or 12 horses that was there. So that's why we kind of want to look at data. And since 1990, we can see, look at that, no one coming from the 1 or the 2. Remember we talked about the difficult spot to be at. Yet at the same time, we definitely see 2 winners have come out from all the way out from the 20 there. 16 and 5 seem like to be the more popular ones that are there. And again, since 2000, and we can see it's pretty well spaced out, but we're not even seeing anything in 1, 2, or 3. All right. So gate position certainly plays a factor, but it's not the whole thing. Like I said, for right now, we're going to skip the winners from there. Total number of races. Okay, so let's go back into our booklet that we've got here. We can find that information towards the top that's up here. So we're going to focus on what's inside here. What they do is they break it down regarding the races from 2017, 2018, and the like. So typically for the horses that are in the Derby, they've been racing for 2 years. All right. And in this case, like I said, it's the 2018 Derby. It lets you know what they've done this year. It lets you know what they've done their previous year. And then they kind of get into the whole lifetime of it there. So what we're interested in there is the total number of races that we're dealing with. So if we look at this, I'm going to look under the life because, again, we're looking for total meaning everything. I see the first number there. So that 5, all right, that is your total. That first number is your total that's there. So if we go on back to it, I'm going to get this pretty soon, all right. Total number of races. This horse has been in 5 races. The win percentage. Okay, so the number right next to it is the first place. So do you see that 4? All right, that's the number of first places. The next one over is second places, and that third number is the third places. So we can see Audible has won 4 races. It's been in first place 4 of the times. No second place finishes, but 1 third place finish that's there. So let's go ahead before we start into it. Let's get that in there. All right. They've won 4 out of the 5. All right. We can reach for our calculator that's here, and do a division problem and change it. But come on here. I think this is going to work out nice. All right. Look at this. Percents out of 100. Let's times it by 20. 40 times 20. Yep, there's our 80%. So Audible has won 80% of the races it has entered. Now we're going to repeat the process here for our next few horses. So we'll go back. The next one we're looking at here is Good Magic. I can see that it's in the 6th for the starting position or the gate. And I can see the odds are 12 to 1 that's there. So we'll head on back in here. And again, you can pause if you need to. We've got Good Magic. All right. Oh, I thought I could memorize the odds, but apparently not. 12 to 1 there. 12 to 1. So not as good as Audible. All right. But kind of close. And again, what we're looking, we got to keep in mind is this is what people think is going to happen. As we know from March Madness, what people think is going to happen and what does happen are two totally separate different things. But again, it gives you an idea behind it. Total number of races. All right, let's go on back up to there for good magic. Remember, we're coming up here where it says that word life. And next to it, you can see a 5 that's there. So it's been in 5 races. And if we look to the right, we can see it's first place 2 times, second place 2 times, and then third place 1 time. So always, in the top 3. But at the same time, you can see why the odds aren't as good that's there. Even though it's been in 5 races, it's only won 2 out of the 5. So same idea, percents out of 100. We're still multiplying by 20. There are 40%. Don't worry about the number of Derby horses being in prior races. We're going to talk a little bit more about that at a later time. So we're going to do one more together here, and then we're going to let you finish it on up. All right. So the next one here is Justify. It's coming out of the 7 gate, and we can see the odds here are 3 to 1. So these are the best odds so far because again, 3 divided by 1, that's going to get us to a 3. That's our smallest number that's there. And this is, Audible, good magic. Who are you? Justify. All right. So we'll get that written in there. Justify. All right. Total number of races. All right. Now, here's what's interesting about Justify. Take a look here. 3 races, 3 wins. Okay, so let's get that down and let's look a little bit closer at this. So 3 races and it's 3 for 3. No need to do some math there. That's 100%. Okay, so here's what makes Justify very interesting is that we've talked about that horses normally race for 2 years. Justify never raced before this year. It doesn't mean it wasn't a racing horse that's there, but if we look at there in the 2017, 0, didn't enter any races. This is not typical. Typically, it's more, hey, we see the year before, and then we see that year of, which makes up the amount that we're working with here. So what we're going to be asking out of you guys here is to go ahead and finish in with those last 2 horses, My Boy Jack, Instilled Regard. And then we're going to start tomorrow. We'll start giving you some other things to be watching for. But again, right now, starting position is definitely going to be coming as we saw those horses start the race. And then simply what the odds are, what people think of that horse going into the race is going to play a part in this. And then what have they done? All right. We're going to see a lot more races out of My Boy Jack here and Instilled Regard. And part of the reason behind that is to get to the Derby, you have to accumulate enough points. And if you get first place, you get a lot of points. So a lot of times these horses that are in a lot of races, they're not getting first place. So they've got to be in a lot more races to try to get all those points so they can get to the Derby. Whereas Justify, they just showed up. I won. Hey, there we go. We don't need to waste our energy traveling and all that type of stuff there. So that's one of the reasons why you're seeing it as a better chance of winning. And you start looking at these bottom 2 horses and we're like, wow, that's a lot more races that's going on here. So anyway, that's where we're at. All right. We will talk to you guys later.